Ever find yourself getting jumped in World of Warcraft while you're just trying to mind your own business? Like,
Oh.
suddenly, bam, out of nowhere,
Yeah.
you're in a fight you didn't see coming?
Happens all the time.
Well, today's deep dive is all about turning the tables in those situations.
Yeah.
We're talking about the Spy add-on, and let me tell you,
Yeah.
it can make a huge difference in your PvP game.
Absolutely.
Just
It's
for
like
Trevor.
it's like having that Spidey sense, but for enemy players in WoW.
Exactly. We've got the Spy World of Warcraft add-ons CurseForge page pulled up,
Okay.
and we're going to break down all the ways this add-on can give you a serious advantage.
All right.
Whether you're a seasoned PvPer or just starting to dip your toes into the battlegrounds,
Right.
Spy can be a real game changer.
For sure.
It's not just about knowing if an enemy is nearby,
Right.
but WHO they are,
Yeah.
and even what they might be planning.
Absolutely.
Okay, so first things first.
Okay.
What exactly does this Spy add-on do?
So Spy is constantly scanning the combat log,
Okay,
which is essentially a running record of every action that happens in the game.
right.
It's looking specifically for actions taken by enemy players.
Gotcha.
So let's say an enemy rogue uses sap on someone in your party.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
Right. Well, Spy sees that action in the combat log, and instantly you get an alert.
Okay,
Not only do you know there's a rogue nearby,
yeah.
but you might even get intel on their level and race depending on the situation.
So it's not just a vague danger, Will Robinson.
Right.
It's giving you actionable information about the threat.
Exactly.
Okay.
Think of it as your personal early warning system for PvP.
I like that.
And the beauty of it is
Yeah.
you can customize those alerts.
Oh, really?
Maybe you want a subtle chime for a low-level player who's probably just passing through, but a blaring klaxon when it's someone from that guild that's always ganking you.
Oh, that's so satisfying.
What?
Like, all right, game on.
Yeah.
I know you're coming for me.
And here's where it gets even more interesting.
Hey.
You're not the only one who benefits from this intel.
Really?
Spy can actually share the information with your party members,
Wow.
raid group, or even your entire guild.
So it's not just about giving you an advantage.
Right.
It's about coordinating your whole team.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got the Spy add-on constantly scanning for enemy actions,
Right.
giving us detailed information about who's nearby.
Yeah.
And we can even share that intel with our allies. But where do we see all this information? What does the add-on actually look like?
Well, the heart of the Spy add-on is the Spy window.
Okay,
It's essentially your command center for all things Spy.
I like it.
And it's designed to be really user-friendly, even if you're not super tech-savvy.
From what I'm seeing here on CurseForge,
Yeah.
it's got all these different lists. Nearby list, kill on sight list, ignore list, last hour list,
Yeah.
and then a statistics window.
Right.
That sounds like a lot to keep track of.
Don't worry.
Okay.
It's all very intuitive.
All right.
Each list has a specific purpose.
Okay.
And they all work together to give you a comprehensive picture of the enemy activity around you.
All right, let's break these lists down one by one.
Okay.
Starting with the most obvious, the nearby list.
Right.
What's the deal with that?
The nearby list is your bread and butter.
Okay,
It shows you all the enemy players that Spy has recently detected in your vicinity.
gotcha.
It's constantly updating as players move in and out of range.
Okay.
So you always have a real-time view of who's lurking around.
So it's like a who's who of potential threats in the area?
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay.
But what about the kill on sight list?
Yeah.
That sounds a little more intense.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
The kill on sight list, or KOS list, is where things get personal.
Okay.
This is where you put those players who have,
Right.
shall we say,
Yeah.
earned your special attention.
Yeah, maybe they ganked you one too many times, camped your favorite farming spot,
Right.
or just have a name that really grinds your gears.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's your way of marking those players that you absolutely do not want to let get away.
Uh-huh.
And when Spy detects someone on your KOS list,
Yeah.
you'll know it.
Okay.
It can trigger a unique alert sound,
Wow.
flash a warning on your screen, or even automatically target them for you.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
getting into spy movie level stuff.
Right.
I love it.
Yeah.
But what if there are players you specifically want to ignore?
Well, that's where the ignore list comes in.
Okay.
This is for those players who, for whatever reason,
Right.
you don't consider a threat.
Uh-huh.
Maybe they're friends from another server,
Gotcha.
or perhaps they're just low-level players you don't want to waste your time on.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So you can really fine-tune Spy to focus on the specific types of players you care about.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what about the last hour list?
All right.
What's the purpose of that one?
The last hour list is like a short-term memory for Spy.
Okay.
It keeps track of all the enemy players you've encountered in the last hour,
Gotcha.
even if they're no longer nearby.
Okay.
This can be incredibly useful for analyzing patterns in enemy behavior.
So if you keep seeing the same rogue popping up in your last hour list, they're probably up to something in the area.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's a great way to identify players who are actively roaming the zone,
Right.
looking for trouble.
Uh-huh.
Or maybe you're trying to track down a specific player who keeps ganking you.
Yeah.
The last hour list can help you pinpoint their movements
Gotcha.
and predict their next move.
Now we've talked about the nearby list, the kill on sight list, the ignore list,
Right.
and the last hour list.
Okay.
But we haven't even touched on that statistics window yet.
Right.
What's the story with that?
The statistics window.
Oh.
This is where Spy really goes beyond just basic detection.
All right.
And starts to provide some serious analytical power.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
The statistics window is essentially a database of all your encounters with enemy players.
Oh.
It tracks things like how many times you've encountered each player,
Wow.
your win-loss record against them,
Okay.
what level they were when you fought them,
Right.
and even what spec they were using.
Wow. That's a lot of data.
Yeah.
I can see how this would be really useful for serious PvPers
Right.
who want to analyze their performance
Exactly.
and identify their strengths and weaknesses.
Absolutely.
So it's not just about avoiding getting ganked.
Right.
It's about becoming a better PvPer overall.
Oh.
I like that.
It is about improving.
But how do you actually USC all this data? The statistics window sounds pretty complex.
It can be, but it's also incredibly powerful.
Okay.
You can sort and filter the data in a variety of ways,
Right.
allowing you to really drill down into the specifics of your encounters.
Okay.
For example, you could filter by a specific class to see how you've performed against rogues in the past week.
Oh.
Or you could sort by win rate to see which players you have the best track record against.
So if I'm having trouble with, say, mages,
Right.
I can look back and see exactly which mages have been giving me the most trouble.
Yeah.
And maybe even figure out what they were doing that was so effective.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
It's all about turning information into action.
Right.
Spy gives you the raw data, but it's up to you to interpret it and use it to your advantage.
Okay, I'm definitely starting to see the appeal of Spy.
Yeah.
It's not just a simple detection add-on.
Right.
It's a whole intelligence gathering system for PvP.
Absolutely.
But before we get too carried away,
Yeah.
let's take a step back and think about the practical implications. How does Spy actually change the way you play World of Warcraft?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
At its core, Spy enhances your awareness.
Okay.
It gives you a level of insight into the enemy's movements and intentions that you wouldn't have otherwise.
Gotcha.
This can lead to more informed decision-making in PvP situations.
So instead of just blindly running into a potential ambush,
Right.
you can approach each encounter with a strategy.
Exactly.
Oh.
Let's say you're farming resources in a contested zone.
Right.
With Spy, you can see if an enemy player is approaching your location,
Okay.
giving you time to either prepare for a fight or slip away unnoticed.
I see.
It takes the element of surprise out of the equation.
That's a huge advantage.
Yeah.
Especially if you're playing a class that's not particularly strong in solo combat.
And it's not just about avoiding fights.
Okay.
Spy can also help you pick and choose your battles more effectively.
Right.
Let's say you're out for revenge on a particular player.
Yeah.
Spy can alert you when they're nearby,
Oh.
giving you the opportunity to strike when they least expect.
No, I like the sound of that.
Right.
It's like having your own personal vendetta system in-game.
Precisely.
Nice.
But it's not just about personal vendettas.
Okay.
Spy can also be a valuable tool for coordinated group play.
Gotcha.
Imagine you're in a battleground
Uh-huh.
trying to capture a flag.
Yeah.
Spy can alert your team to the presence of enemy players who might be trying to steal it,
Right.
giving you time to organize a defense.
So it takes teamwork to a whole new level.
It does.
Yeah.
And that's why Spy is so popular among competitive PvP guilds.
I see.
It allows them to communicate and coordinate their movements
Right.
with a level of precision that wouldn't be possible otherwise.
Okay, so we've established that Spy is an incredibly powerful tool for PvP in World of Warcraft. But let's not forget that World of Warcraft is a vast and diverse game.
Right.
Can Spy be useful outside of strictly PvP scenarios?
Absolutely.
Okay.
While Spy's primary focus is PvP, its functionality extends beyond just combat encounters.
Okay.
For example, let's say you're on a quest to kill a rare mob that only spawns in a specific location.
Those can be so hard to find.
They can be.
Yeah.
But with Spy, if another player has recently encountered that rare mob, it might show up on your nearby list.
Really?
Giving you a clue as to where it might be.
So it's like having a network of scouts out there helping you track down your prey.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And it can also be helpful for avoiding those pesky gankers. Even if you're not actively looking for a fight.
Yeah.
If someone with a reputation for attacking unsuspecting players is nearby, Spy can give you a heads up.
Gotcha.
Allowing you to either prepare for a confrontation or slip away quietly.
I'm starting to think Spy is less of a spy add-on.
Yeah.
And more of a superhero power.
Right.
It's like having enhanced senses, super speed, and a network of informants all rolled into one.
It's certainly a powerful tool. But let's not forget that Spy is just that, a tool.
Right.
It's up to the player to use it wisely and ethically.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Like any tool, Spy can be used for good or for evil.
Right.
It's important to remember that ultimately it's the player's responsibility.
Yeah.
To ensure that they're using it in a way that enhances the gameplay experience for everyone involved.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We should also mention that Spy is constantly evolving.
Oh, really?
The creators are always working on new features and improvements based on feedback from the community.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
It shows that they're really dedicated to making Spy the best add-on it can be.
Absolutely.
And speaking of the community,
I
understand there's a pretty active community of Spy users on CurseForge, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
The comments section on the Spy add-on page is a treasure trove of information.
Cool.
You can find everything from basic setup tips to advanced strategies for using Spy effectively.
Nice.
It's a great place to ask questions, share your own experiences, and learn from other players.
It sounds like a fantastic resource for anyone who wants to get the most out of Spy.
It is.
Okay.
And it's a testament to the collaborative spirit of the World of Warcraft community.
Yeah.
Players are always willing to help each other out, to share their knowledge and insights.
That's one of the things I love about World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
It's more than just a game, it's a community.
Absolutely.
And Spy seems to be a great example of how that community can come together to create something truly special.
It is.
Yeah.
And I think it speaks to the enduring appeal of World of Warcraft itself.
Right.
Even after all these years, players are still finding new ways to enjoy the game.
Yeah.
To push the boundaries of what's possible.
And that's really what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Finding new ways to have fun.
Absolutely.
To challenge ourselves. And to connect with other players.
For sure.
So, if you're looking for a way to spice up your World of Warcraft experience, to add a new layer of depth and strategy to your gameplay, I highly recommend checking out the Spy add-on.
I second that.
Now, before we wrap up this deep dive into the world of Spy, I want to leave you with a final thought. Imagine yourself venturing into the treacherous landscapes of Azeroth.
Yeah.
Not as a helpless pawn, but as a master of information. Imagine stepping into those dangerous zones knowing that you have a secret weapon. An edge that most players don't even realize exists.
Think about those tense moments before a big battleground clash.
Yeah.
Instead of wondering where the enemy is hiding, you already know.
Oh, wow.
You can anticipate their moves, counter their strategies, and lead your team to victory.
It's not just about reacting to what's happening around you. It's about being proactive.
Yeah.
About dictating the terms of engagement.
Absolutely.
And remember, even outside of structured PvP, Spy can be a huge help.
Oh, yeah.
Picture yourself searching for that elusive rare spawn. Instead of wandering aimlessly, you can use Spy's intel to track its movements, increasing your chances of snagging that coveted loot.
Absolutely.
You know, it's funny. We started this deep dive talking about Spy as a way to avoid getting ganked. But it's so much more than that.
It is.
It's about taking control.
Yeah.
About making informed decisions. About becoming a more strategic and effective player overall.
It's about understanding the flow of information in World of Warcraft. And using it to your advantage.
So if you're ready to step up your WoW game, head over to CurseForge, grab the Spy add-on. And see what it can do for you.
Absolutely.
And while you're there, take a look at the comments section. You'll find a whole community of players sharing tips, strategies, and even funny stories about their Spy experiences.
Don't be afraid to experiment with the different settings.
Yeah.
Customize it to your playstyle.
Right.
And find what works best for you.
Exactly. And who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe you'll discover a whole new way to use Spy that we haven't even talked about.
Yeah.
If you do, be sure to let us know.
We're always excited to hear how our listeners are putting this knowledge into action.
Well, that about wraps up our deep dive into the Spy add-on.
Right.
Hopefully, you've walked away with a better understanding of how this powerful tool can transform your World of Warcraft experience.
Remember, knowledge is power.
Absolutely.
And in the world of Azeroth, information is king.
Until next time, happy hunting.
Yeah.
And may your adventures be filled with cunning strategies and epic victories.